essay that I wrote for Sojourn to the Past. So it says, growing up, I always believed that people were treated equally because everyone was human. As I grew older, I realized I couldn't be further from the truth. During my experience on Sojourn to the Past, I learned about the Little Rock Nine. These 9 ordinary children, many of whom were the same age as I am, broke the grounds of history to make extraordinary changes for our country. Without their involvement in the desegregation of public high schools, our community would most likely be segregated based on race to this day. In 1954, the Supreme Court revisited segregation in public schools during the Brown versus Board of Education of Tippecanoe, Kansas. This case involved the young girl, Linda Brown, who wished to attend an all-white school. The courts decided that segregation in public schools was unequal and now illegal. This ruling overpowered the Plessy versus Ferguson case of 1896, meaning all schools legally had to integrate with deliberate speed. For many segregationalists, this meant over the course of decades, while for integrationalists, this meant desegregating that instant. The Brown versus Board of Education Act allowed 9 teenage children to volunteer, attend, and desegregate a beautiful school in Little Rock, Arkansas, Central High. Central High School was considered to be a moderate school with no issues against integration. When 9 kids started their school year in the fall of 1957, they learned the harsh truths about Central High. 16-year-old Elizabeth Eckford was the first victim of Little Rock's terrorism. While on her way to the first day of school, she was ambushed by a mob of people who viciously harassed her. They would chant hurtful things at Elizabeth and would threaten her life. During an interview 50 years after her first day, Elizabeth stated, I looked into the crowd I looked for help from an adult. I saw this woman I think had a kind face, but she spat on me. This shared experience from Elizabeth revealed the truth about the violent community of Little Rock, Arkansas. These acts of violence did not end with Elizabeth. 3 weeks after the first day, all 9 children came back to Central High to receive an education. Yet again, they were terrorized by their schoolmates. The bullying and harassment was so inhumane that President Eisenhower sent military forces, the 101st, to protect these children in the hallways and cafeteria. Even with the help of the 101st, all 9 kids were repeatedly tormented on a day-to-day basis. In Look magazine of 1958, Minnie Jean Brown Trickey shared a piece of her story. One day, a boy whose locker was near mine said, "Don't touch my locker or I'll kick the out of you." I was mad and answered him back. My guard heard the whole thing and reported my side of the story, but it didn't help. No matter the circumstances of the situation, the children were never allowed to defend themselves against the harassment of their peers. The United States of America has come a long way since the Brown versus Board of Education Act of 1954. In today's world, children of all races and ethnicities are able to attend the same school for the same education. The story of the Little Rock Nine deeply impacted this country and myself. This story opened my eyes to the horrific history of this country. Students are educated less and less about Black history as the years go on, which is not just. Although these children greatly suffered through their high school experience, they taught everyone that the color of your skin does not matter. The only aspect that truly matters is the content of your character. They opened the eyes of the American people and rewrote history for the better. Education is a right that all children deserve. Many people still fight for the right to be taught in a classroom to this day. The heroic acts of these 9 children greatly impacted the development of this country by giving kids the right to a high-class education. Without their courageous actions, our country would most likely still be in the superior versus inferior mindset. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very good.